Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Devers climbs the ladder, gets to that fastball, sends it in the air, deep to left field, leaping catch to steal a run. Vermont loves it, still no score. Gleyber Torres swats the first pitch to deep right field, goodbye. Six for the Red Sox, and swings to the first pitch, sends a high fly ball to deep center field. McKinney's out of room, it's gone. 1-2 to Calhoun. Is lifted in the air to deep right field. Verdugo's going back. It's gone! Calhoun puts him in front.
It is Saturday, June 10th, and the Yankees and the Red Sox were under the lights in the Bronx for Game 2 of their weekend series. Domingo Germán was on the mound, and he was dealing once again, and Gleyber Torres was swinging the shillelagh. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
All right. Not a huge offensive outburst, but we will take it. We will definitely take the W and move on till tomorrow. Welcome back, everybody. Another Saturday night game. We've got 2 night games this weekend. Fox tonight and ESPN tomorrow. And because this game was on Fox, once again we had to endure John Smoltz. Tonight, at least, I didn't think he attacked the Yankees so much as he was ragging on Yankee Stadium and its dimensions specifically. I thought he was going to have a stroke when Willie Calhoun hit one in the first row. I'm not going to lie. But he mentioned he got released at this ballpark, and we all know what happened at the old Yankee Stadium in 96 and 99. So I'm sensing maybe a little bit of emotional damage and projection. You know, maybe he needs to talk to somebody about that. Unfortunately, this episode not sponsored by BetterHelp. Whatever, dude. Stay mad. Speaking of the Willie Calhoun home run, very interesting outfield for the Yankees tonight. All 3 Yankees outfielders were non-roster invitees in spring training. Calhoun, Bowers, and McKinney. And to be fair, they all played pretty damn well today. They all contributed. Also sounds like we're going to get Darth Bader back in the next week or so. Something to look forward to tonight. Billy McKinney was playing center field tonight, and he actually made a really nice catch in the first inning. Domingo Germán was on the mound, and he has without question been the Yankees' number 2 starter this season. Even with the suspension, he had the curveball working, he had the changeup working, he was throwing strikes. 3.49 ERA on the season now, and his WHIP, or walks and hits per innings pitched, which is an important metric, a much more important metric than I think people give it credit for, is at 0.99, so less than a base runner per inning. Barely, but you know, that's Garrett Cole-like in terms of the WHIP. I don't know what Garrett Cole's WHIP is off the top of my head, but it's in that ballpark. Outstanding catch by Jake Bowers in the 3rd inning today. Devers crushed one the opposite way down the left field line, and it looked for a second like it was going to go out of the ballpark, but Jake Bowers made a leaping catch against the wall to reel it in. He was pumped up, too. I love seeing guys get pumped up like that. Good energy in the ballpark tonight. Not what you would typically see for Yankees Red Sox, because the Yankees are, quite frankly, you know, about 9 games out. And the Red Sox are in last place. So there's not that same tension you're used to, but still a fun night. Yankees went out in front in the bottom of the 4th inning. Mr. Gleyber Torres staying hot.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Solo shot to right field. 11th home run of the season and 2nd home run in the last 3 games. Good to see him driving the ball to right field again. Rafael Devers led off the 6th with a solo home run into Monument Park to tie the game at 1. A lot of hang time, and he just kills it at Yankee Stadium. But Willie Calhoun answered right back.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
5th home run for him, solo shot. He's not a guy who's going to hit one in the second deck, I don't think. But he can reach the right field porch for sure. He's kind of built for this stadium. Top 7, Masataka Yoshida had one of the great at-bats you'll ever see. 14 pitches to draw the walk against Wandy Peralta, but Peralta pitched out of it. I was one of the people that wanted the Yankees to sign Yoshida. I think he would have been a perfect fit, but hopefully this is a lesson for Cashman. The Japanese players have gotten a lot better, especially the contact hitters. Yankees still lacking contact hitters. If you look at the averages, and we'll do this when we go through the box score, the Yankees have essentially nobody hitting over 250. Maybe one or two guys, but it's a joke right now. Yankees only got 6 hits this evening, but again, they won with solo home runs, which is apparently their objective. We got another appearance tonight by Tommy Kahnle. He is still unscored upon. Nice job by Tommy Tight Pants. Clay Holmes came in for the 9th, and he had some filthy stuff. 8th save of the season. He had that good sinker working, threw a couple of really good curveballs, completely overmatched Yoshida, and the Yankees have evened the series at 1 game apiece.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
All right, we're going to give out the belt, and then I want to talk a little bit about Anthony Volpe. I want to have a good heart-to-heart with you guys about Anthony Volpe, just because of what I'm seeing in the comments. But first, we got to award the belt to the man who I thought did a phenomenal job, and as I said, is the Yankees' number 2 so far this season. A guy who's really stepped up, Domingo Germán.
Let's go. Belt winner.
PBC says Volpe to AAA, and then I saw a couple others that said more harsh words about Volpe. Lori C says young Mr. Volpe needs to go to Scranton. Our offense isn't good enough to cover for his growing pains, and I think it's worth talking about. Somebody else said that he was a bust. I'm trying to find the post that said he was a bust. I'm sorry I missed it, but I'm sure there will be others. The point I want to make about Volpe is that he's obviously not been an instant success, right? We all hoped he would be an instant success, that he would, come up like gangbusters and take the league by storm, the way somebody like, Ellie De La Cruz has done so far, or, Adley Rutschman this year, or, Julio Rodriguez. He's not one of those guys, clearly. I think he's a little bit overmatched. I think that's fair. But to call him a bust, I think is unfair. It's too soon to suggest that it's not too soon to suggest it, but it's too soon to make that determination. We just don't have a big enough sample size. Guys can play for a couple of years before they really put it together. I think what you're seeing is a guy who got rushed. He only played 22 games at AAA last year. We've said that ad nauseum. And it's clear that he's a little bit overmatched. That, we really need to do some thinking about whether or not we should send him down. Look, I still think it's a bit too premature to send him down, but every day I get a little bit closer to the send him down point. Like, as Lori said, this team is struggling for offense. And over his last 30 games coming into tonight, he had a 200 on-base percentage. Not a 200 average, a 200 on-base percentage, which doesn't allow him to use his speed at all. So you're taking away one of his major weapons. The power has been there. I believe he's got 9 home runs. That's pretty good for this point in the year for a 22-year-old rookie. He's driven in some runs. At shortstop, he's been okay. You look at the metrics, they don't really look that great. His outs above average is way down. Throwing arm, not good. But we do see some hard contact. We see some good things. It's clear to everyone watching, it's clear to the announcers, it's clear to everyone but Dylan Lawson that he's pulling off the ball. He's pulling off the ball way too much. Stepping in the bucket is what they call that. Every kid does it when they're little. There are ways to correct that. A lot of guys, Ruben Sierra was a guy who did that, and his career kind of fell apart until he stopped doing it. Now, there's different ways that you can adjust to that. You can back off the plate a little bit and just look outside, essentially look away. If you back off the plate and you look to pull, you're essentially giving away the whole second, the whole far half of the plate. So you've got to cover that, and you keep you keep that conscious in mind, and it forces you to stay back and not open up that front hip. Is he capable of making that adjustment? That's something we have to wonder about. Against major league pitchers throwing 98, revamping your swing a little bit, I don't know. But to call him a bust is probably premature. It's probably a little bit too harsh. I do think we have to start the clock on whether or not he has to go down to AAA. So I appreciate you guys sitting through that little diatribe, but I felt like it needed to be said. Brett Deutsch says, read an article 2 weeks ago about Holmes abandoning his 12-6 slider to lefties, and he started going back to it, and he's been dominant ever since. Appreciate the dono. He's looked great. I still 100% do not trust him against a good team in a tight game just because of the command. I have no problem with his stuff. I think he's got outstanding stuff. But when his command starts to go, he's not one of those guys who's mentally tough enough to put it together on the fly. If he starts to unravel, he's going to go all the way unraveled. And look, I still think he's better as a setup man. I think if the Yankees do make some trades to upgrade this team, Alexis Diaz with the Reds is somebody the Yankees have to prioritize. He will cost an arm and a leg. But and also you have to wonder if Cincy is ready to give up, because that division isn't great, and they've got Elly De La Cruz now, who looks like he could be one of the best players in baseball right out of the gate. So that's something that you have to consider. Will they even trade him? David Ishikawa says, fans are so extreme in the Volpe discussion. Some fans want to label him a bust and some want to protect, like Bambi. Both extremes are wrong, 100%. He's a baseball player, like any other player, and he's a kid. We have to look at him for what he is. He's a kid who lost a year of development to COVID and didn't get much time in AAA. We're seeing that Major League Baseball is extremely difficult. Even for a talented kid, there's no question in my mind that he's got the skill set to be a good Major League Baseball player. He's fast. He's got power. I think he's got, great baseball IQ. We've seen him make some, good heads-up plays. He almost never makes stupid decisions. He's clearly struggling on defense a little bit. He might be better suited for second base. And we got a cat jumping up here. And, if you do have to send him down, I do think that's an opportunity to reset things where you bring up Peraza to shortstop and prepare Volpe to take over at second base. I think if you send him down, you leave him down. Leave him down there for the rest of the year and let him develop with no pressure. But the Yankees had an open competition in spring, and he won. So, I really feel like, he earned the job, and the Yankees have stuck with him. But we're at the point now. This is not a super small sample size anymore. Tonight was the Yankees, 66th game? Essentially 2+ months hitting, 180 something. We might as well look at the box score here. I'll pull that up. But, it's really time to get going if you're Anthony Volpe. Let's take a look at the box score. So Torres, 2 for 4 tonight, coming out of it a little bit. Donaldson, 0 for 4. It seems like the only hits he gets are home runs. I think he's got 5 home runs and 6 hits. Calhoun, 1 for 3. Very quietly heating up. Dangerous in Yankee Stadium. Hitting the ball hard. Stanton, 0 for 2. He's gone into a funk. Bowers, 0 for 2, but made a nice defensive play. Kiner Falefa had a good at bat. He came in to pinch hit, singled, ended up scoring on that that infield hit by Higgy, so he made that run himself. Nice job. LeMahieu, tough night again. 236 on the season. Not what you're used to seeing from him. McKinney, 1 for 3. Higashioka, 1 for 2 with a ribby. And Volpe, 0 for 3, hitting 187. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at these batting averages. And if you're listening, I want you to listen carefully and tell me if this sounds like a championship, batting order in terms of, the averages. And I get, we have some injuries right now. Judge is out. But listen to these numbers. 256, 154, 246, 199, 236, 231, 245, 236, 308. That guy's been here a week. 229 and 187. And I should mention the guy hitting 308 hit 099 last year for Oakland. Look, you're not going to win a lot of games against good pitching with those kind of numbers. So, not getting Freddie Freeman, I don't know. Obviously, Rizzo's done a nice job, but Freeman's hitting 330, right? Yoshida hitting over 300, hitting 305. Corey Seager hitting 350. The Yankees pass on a lot of guys who would be perfect antidotes to what ails this team and what's ailed this team for a long time. And that's the inability to hit for contact. Now, we won, and so I sound like, I'm complaining, but I just wanted to point out that, this team needs to do better offensively. We got a super dono, but first I want to read the ad real quick. Obviously, this portion of the show brought to you by the Game Time app, as you see on the screen. I mention this every night. They're great sponsors, and they're going to be sponsoring for the next, week or two. So you get to hear this portion of the show for the next couple of weeks. But I don't mind doing it because they are tremendous, and I vouch for them 100%. Download the app, give it a look. It's a place where you can get last-minute tickets to events in your area, concerts, sporting events, music, theater, all that stuff. My wife and I are actually going to go see a play. It's going to be pretty cool. Download the Game Time app. Use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. Lowest price on last-minute tickets, guaranteed. Brett Deutsch says he would like to see Volpe swing smaller, bump up that average, and he needs to be on base to steal bags. He's also a second baseman 100%. I think I agree with all of those statements. Vols 2K says Cashman and the organization has put a lot of pressure on Volpe by not signing the big fish shortstops. Well, if you sign a big fish shortstop, the problem was you had all these top prospects that were shortstops. Not only Volpe, but Peraza. For a while, Cabrera was a shortstop. Trey Sweeney still playing shortstop. And these guys are still playing shortstop in the minor leagues. Why not spread your prospects around? Why? And we have no outfield prospects that are close, right? You got Dominguez at AA. Had a good night last night, but still hitting about 208. You have Pereira, another right-handed hitter. You got Spencer Jones, who looks promising, but he's kind of killing it at single A, and they're not really giving him a chance to advance. I just think that what we're seeing is a product of a misfire in the organization in terms of how they build their team. You've got a park that's built for left-handed hitters, and you don't have to be a power hitter. And I think that's something that Yankees overlook. You don't need to be a power hitter to hit for power as a lefty at Yankee Stadium. You just need to be a good hitter, and the home runs will come, because all hitting for power is hitting the ball out front a little bit more, right? Get that launch angle and get out in front of the plate a little bit more, and you're going to hit the ball in the air to the pull side. It's physics. It's physics. And the Yankees ignore that, right? They like big right-handers who can wait a little bit longer and hit the ball the opposite way. That's their game plan. I personally think it's a mistake to ignore the value that lefties have. We see that maybe Cashman is adjusting to that a little bit lately by bringing in guys like Bowers, who's done a nice job, to his credit. Calhoun tonight, to his credit. But these are, like we said, these were guys who were non-roster invitees. You could have had Corey Seager. You could have had Freddie Freeman. You could have had Yoshida. You could have had Bryce Harper. But the organization spends in the wrong areas. Instead, we have $25 million on Donaldson. $25 million on Giancarlo Stanton. And I love Big G. Big G fan. Big G fan. Not right for the team when you already had Aaron Judge.
Game over, man. It's game over.
We're gonna get out of here.
Vols says, would you have traded Volpe for Castillo? Castillo is filthy. In retrospect, probably make that deal, but,
You gotta go.
last year I think I would have said no. Although maybe I'd have to go back and look at what my opinion was at the time. I don't recall. I know I wouldn't have traded Dominguez straight up. Dominguez for Castillo would not have been a move that I would have made because I'm such a big Dominguez guy. And maybe I sound like a fanboy when I say that, but I believe in the kid's talent. I believe in his skills, and we saw it in spring training. You know, when he matures as a player and becomes comfortable, he's going to be doing that to major league pitchers. So, but, you know, in terms of Volpe, it's easy to look back now and say, hey, kid's gotten off to a slow start. Maybe we should have traded him. I wanted to just tell the fans, look, you can be whatever type of fan you want. You can be, you know, down on Volpe. You can call him a bust. You can take out your anger on him. He's not supposed to be the guy that's driving this offense. He's supposed to be hiding in the number 9 hole and learning on the job. That was the plan. But the Yankees rely too much on injured players. And now Volpe is getting a lot of attention because he's one of the only guys who's in there every day. And so he has to struggle every day, and we have to watch it every day. Marcus says that the Reds didn't want Volpe or Peraza. Yeah, I believe that was the situation. I think they wanted Dominguez and a couple of other players is what I heard. But, you know, they liked the Seattle package that they got, and I don't think the Yankees would have matched that. But Odell Beckham, I don't think it's the Odell Beckham, says Juan Soto would rejuvenate the Yankees. He probably would, but it would cost the entire farm. It's not going to happen. Look, I just don't see the Yankees going out and getting somebody like that. One player doesn't fix this entire organization, especially when you would have to dump the entire farm. I put out a video, for those of you who are listening and haven't logged on to YouTube today, I put out a video on whether or not the Yankees should be sellers. I personally don't believe they should be. I think they got a chance. If you can get into the playoffs, you've got a chance. We saw that with the Philadelphia Phillies last year. But I put out the 10 players or so that I think the Yankees could unload should they decide to unload at the trade deadline. So give that a watch. All right, guys, we are going to call it a night. I wanted to thank everybody for joining again. Download the Game Time app. I haven't shown a lot of store promos in a while, but please support the store, NYYRecaps.shop. We got lots of good memorabilia. Also, I'm going to be at Yankee Stadium on September 22nd and 23rd. The 22nd, I'll just be sitting out there amongst the folks. And then the 23rd, Pete from NYY News TV is having his event. And I will be there with my brother and a couple of my friends. It's going to be a fun time, so come up and say hello. I'm going to bring some coasters and stuff for NYY Recaps, maybe a few hats, just a bag full of swag, and give some stuff away. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.